The SWOT analysis touches on the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We've discussed some of these already in our analysis of the general market. Again, some of the strengths of Samuel Adams are in their product innovation, the culture, and the marketing savvy that they have demonstrated over the years. The fact that the craft brew market still continues to grow, even with the flood of entrants into the market, and just its reputation for quality over the years, and the many awards it's won for its innovation and products. Weaknesses, again, leveraging ability of size. While it is bigger than the microbreweries it's competing against, it is not even in the same league as its competitors, such as Anheuser-Busch, when it comes to ability to demand price, demand shelf space, and to get advertising, premium advertising locations. It is a good company that could be targeted for acquisition, even though they claim that they're not for sale. They could be the target of a hostile takeover. They do rely on non-owned breweries in some cases to brew some of their products. And disruptions in this, in their supply chain or in their distributors, could very quickly be an outsized effect on their ability to deliver. A lot of their quality comes from their ability to deliver their beers and their products with minimal storage time, which affects the flavor. And so a problem with distributors holdover in the warehouses would affect their quality and then in turn affect their customer base. Opportunities for Boston Beer include the growing industry for specialized beer. Demand is strong in America, and global markets are following those trends. Their increase in market share over time continues to grow as they continue to fight, and we believe that we'll see many of the smaller later entrants into the craft brew market either tend to merge or trail off as the market readjusts to the amount of breweries that it can actually support. And also, Samuel Adams has the opportunity to create deals with suppliers, single source deals that could cut out some of their competitors, as in the craft brew market, special ingredients, special hops grown in special regions can affect the flavor of the beers, and so their ability to go in and negotiate as the largest craft brewer can edge out the ability of other craft brews to obtain some of those key supplies. And their threats, they could be a target for acquisition, and the high competitiveness of the market with so many entrants right now. Internal analysis of the company is, their mission is to be long-term profitable growth and to continue to focus on high-quality beer in the United States market. They have 3 market segments, as we've discussed before, and within each of those market segments, they have a diverse portfolio of brands, and a reputation for innovation. And that's part of the corporate culture and part of the appeal of the brand. Their greatest core competency is the customer relationship, their willingness to change their portfolio to offer the best products to meet the needs of and demands of the customer as it changes over time. And so even though their original Boston Lager remains in place, they have a expanding and continually evolving lineup of different brews, ciders, and teas. Alchemy and Science is the brewery they use to come up with a lot of their new ideas. Currently, their nitro product is a phenomenal success, and they're seeing stronger than expected sales in that. But because they put so much of their effort into research and design, and so much effort into ensuring the quality of their production and processes, they continue to keep their place as a craft brewer, even though as they continue to grow. As we mentioned before, the key problem for Boston Beer Company is their placement in the market. They're no longer a small craft brewery, but they're also not one of the major brewers. And so size matters, not only as a company, but also importantly within the craft brew section and the perception of the company. So the customers that tend towards craft brew value the independence, they value the innovation, the small scale, the local guy. And so the irony of Boston Beer's success is as they've grown, they're no longer the small guy, they're no longer the regional guy. And so even though they maintain their quality, maintain their innovation, customers can now see them as, big beer. They're just another big brewery. They're not the local guy anymore. And that's not hip. That's not, what, your bearded millennial is looking for to prove that he's the most offbeat niche guy, and so he would be willing to experiment with other local craft beers. And so Samuel Adams and Boston Beer have to fight this perception that they're not one of the sellouts, not one of the big boys, and still meet their customer perceptions. So we put together 3 recommendations that Boston Beer Company can look at. The first recommendation is to continue to diversify within the alcoholic beverage industry. Boston Beer has shown success in their willingness to go into ciders, their willingness to go into hard teas, and some of these are fads that seem to have started to run their course already. And so Boston Beer Company can look into other liquors, other wines, other parts of the alcoholic beverage industry to take advantage of the fact that worldwide and here in America people are going to continue to consume alcohol. Just that the trend of the kind of alcohol they want changes over time. So by diversifying, Boston Beer Company would be able to soften the blows as the fads and the swings in market go. They have a strong reputation for quality, they have a strong reputation for innovation, and so it would not be hard for them, and they already have suppliers, and they understand the alcoholic industry and the beverages and the distribution. So for Boston Beer to acquire a couple wineries, to acquire a couple of other breweries, that look at hard liquors where they can put their name on it, would not be a stretch outside of their general core competencies. Whereas our second recommendation would be for them to go ahead and expand outside of just alcohol into related products. You look at the history of the tobacco companies, or R.J. Reynolds acquired Nabisco Foods, and some of the other, Philip Morris got into other food industries too. And so Boston Beer could completely just diversify so that they're not at the mercy of swings in the alcohol market. But you can also look at maybe they could focus on foods or special foods or quality foods that would be consumed with their alcohol, with their beers, such as, they sponsor the Beer and Barbecue Fest, or snack foods that would go with beer. So someone planning a party would not only go buy Boston Beer, they'd buy Boston Beer chips or other related products that could be placed together at the supermarket. And so, again, the advantage of this is that it takes away the exposure of the company from solely to the alcohol industry. But the disadvantage is that now the company will be moving away from its core competency, its core market, and management and expansion, planning and change management would be key to make sure that any move into other products would be carefully managed, carefully controlled, and carefully thought out during that expansion. Recommendation 3 is hold steady. Doing nothing is still a course of action. And this seems to be the direction that Boston Beer is taking right now, where they're regrouping, focusing on the core competency, their current product lines, and trying to ride out the current wave, the current bubble. They see the flood of entrants into the market as something that will pass. They see all the capital investment that has come into the market and acquired smaller breweries, and they see that most of these capital investors aren't into the craft brew industry for the long run. They're going to sell out. They're going to sell those breweries and try and realize a profit, or dismantle those breweries and realize a profit as competition increases and as sales start to slow in many of those smaller companies. So Boston Beer believes that if they just focus on what they do best, they've expanded over the last several years, increased production capacity, increased the product line, and if they look at reconsolidating, making sure that their increased capacity still maintains the same quality, they believe that in time they will ride out the current wave, still remain strong, and still continue to be the Boston Beer Company that their loyal fan base loves. So of these 3 recommendations, as we said, we've seen Boston Beer heading towards the 3rd recommendation, and we've also likewise seen how the markets reacted to that with drop in price to earnings as the company shies away from growth in the immediate future. And so it'll be interesting to watch and see how this plays out for Boston Beer Company. We appreciate your time, we appreciate your focus, and we look forward to watching Boston Beer in the future, as it is a solid company that we believe will stay and outlast many of their smaller competitors. Thank you.